Yo, what's up guys, Felix from John Lifestyle, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down the business of wholesaling houses A to Z. Back in the end of 2020, I posted a video explaining how I did my first wholesale deal, and that video actually has gone viral. It has almost 250,000 views, and it's got tons of questions, comments, and messages. People wanted to know how I did the deal, how did I find the seller, how did I find the buyer, how did I put the contract together, how did I take it to the closing table, how did I get paid, how did everything work? So in this video, I'm going to explain the entire deal A to Z, and then this explanation can help you understand the business more in depth. Because when I first learned about wholesaling, I remember I watched hundreds of videos to understand what is an assignment contract, what are marketing, what are motivated sellers, what is everything. So in this video with this whiteboard, I'm going to explain the entire business. And before we get into the video, be sure to check the description below. I have a bunch of new resources for you guys all to check out. The first link is obviously information about flipping medical commodities. The second link is information on how to flip pallets. The third link is my book, To Become an Independent Courier. The fourth link is information about the surplus funds recovery business. The fifth link is actually a book by my mentor in real estate, Nasser, aka the real estate guru, on how to flip houses, how to wholesale houses. It's only 38 bucks, and it's a more in-depth version of what this video is going to talk about and all the other videos on my channel, plus what you might see online as well. And then the sixth link is information on about how to build an online business with YouTube and make money online as an internet marketer. I also have two links for investing in crypto and another link to check and build your credit score below those. Also, my contact information and other social medias are down in the description below. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. How do you wholesale houses? For anybody that doesn't know what wholesaling houses is you're basically a middleman. So in the middle, there is somebody with a house, and there is somebody with cash. This is you, you're in the middle. Here's a person with cash, and here's a person with a house. Now, what you want is somebody who's motivated. So the average person, if you go and see the average, sign in the ground that says, hey, we're looking to sell our house, it's listed with a realtor, which is basically an agent who works with a company to sell homes. If the house in the neighborhood is selling for 200, 300, whatever the houses are selling for in that neighborhood, they're going to want what the property's worth, because maybe they're upgrading to a new house because their family's growing or whatever the case may be. So they're not in a rush to sell something. Have you ever been in a rush to sell something? Say you're looking to move and you have a couch and you need to be out to your apartment or house by tomorrow. You're going to be willing to take a lot less than if you have no rush. If you don't sell the couch, you put it in storage. But if you need that couch gone, you have no place to put it, you're going to need that couch gone much quicker. So what we look for is people who want to sell their house in a dire need. That could be maybe the bank is about to take it. That could be a family situation. That could be, for example, with my deal, this was the situation. So the guy, his entire family died. He had this house, entire family died within the past year. Him, we're going to call him V, was living with his girlfriend, who we're going to call M, and the girlfriend, the uncle of M, was paying all the bills for the house, the taxes, the mortgage, everything A to Z. And finally, basically the uncle of M, which was V's girlfriend, basically said, listen, I'm not paying for this no more. I'm not living here. This is not my house. You guys aren't going to pay me back. So listen, either the bank is eventually going to take it, because if you stop paying your mortgage and your taxes and stuff like that, eventually the city or the bank will come take the property. Now, if you have an apartment like I'm in right now, if I don't pay the rent for maybe a month, maybe 2 months, they'll kick me out. But with a house that you actually own, it takes a lot longer to be kicked out. So they had this house, right? The house was a single family house. The house was worth around $225,000 to $250,000. And the way I figured that out is I looked at other similar houses in that area. I used Zillow. You can use advanced programs like the MLS to look what properties are actively on the market for and what properties are actively selling for. But you could look on Zillow. Even though people might say that Zillow is not an accurate way to look up properties, you can go on Zillow and see what properties have sold for, right? There is something called a Zestimate on Zillow, which is way off. But Zillow, even though it's not 100% accurate, it is 100% accurate with sold listings. So I looked up properties that look similar. So it's like, it was sort of like a ranch style house. It wasn't like a big colonial which had like multiple floors. It had an upstairs, but it was basically a one level house, right? So I looked up properties in this within a mile radius. So you want to do a 1 mile radius that sold in the last 6 months, right? So with that, I realized that the property was worth, say I found one house for $200K that sold maybe 3 months ago. Say I found another house that was $250K that sold 2 months ago, and one house that was $300K that sold 1 month ago. So what I would do is I would take 300 plus 250 plus 200, that's 750 divided by 3. I could basically say the property is around worth 250. So that's basically that's how I know what the property is worth. I look at sold listings in that area within the past 6 months that sold. So right now it's February. I want to look basically between September and now within a mile radius of what that looks like the same. You don't want to find a house that has 6 bedrooms. If this house has 3 bedroom, one bathroom, you want to look at sold listings within a mile radius in the past 6 months that look similar to what that house looks like and has about the same amount of bedrooms and bathrooms and statistics of the last house. So to get back to the situation, what I did is I put out something called a bandit sign, right? I put these things in the ground on telephone poles, and if they basically say, we buy houses and my phone number, right? We buy houses, hey, call me. So this was back in October of 2014. I had these planted all around the city. Keep in mind, I was already trying at this for around 9 or 10 months. I just couldn't get a deal. I know a lot of people on the internet make it seem like if you just put out these marketing signs, if you mail to people who have homes who are motivated, they'll be looking to sell right away. It takes time. It's not that simple. It is a simple concept, but it takes hard work. So I put these things in the ground, and there's other strategies you could do. You can like pull lists from the county of people who are in pre-foreclosure, meaning they're about to lose their house, or you could pull things called probates, meaning say for example, say for example, my family, right? My parents, when they pass on, they leave the house to me. So most people, they don't, like, if I'm already doing well, maybe I live across the country, what am I going to do with my parents' house? Maybe I could rent it out, especially if I'm not savvy in business. I would probably just fix it up and flip it. But if you're not savvy in business, then you might be stuck between a rock and a hard place and say, oh, I don't know what to do with it. Some siblings start to fight and say, hey, I want the house, or no, you want the house. So, you could look up different types of motivated sellers. That's what you could look, besides this video, you can look up different types of motivated sellers. There's people that are going through tax foreclosure or pre-foreclosure, or if you see something that says for sale by owner, maybe they don't want to list it with a realtor, they just want a quick cash offer, because that's the service you're providing as a wholesaler. You're basically bringing somebody a quick cash offer, but not you, your cash buyer. So remember, you're just the middleman for these cash buyers. These cash buyers are typically people, contractors, or successful real estate investors that have a lot of cash, and they're looking to buy a property for cheap, put some work into it, and flip it for a profit. So basically, I put a bandit sign in the ground. Somebody called me up, and from there, I had to figure out what was the situation, right? So let me erase some of this stuff. So I had to figure out what was the situation, right? First off, when they first call, I say, hey, what's up? My name is Felix. Thank you for calling. Where did you see the sign? So I say, where did you see it? Did you see the sign? And then I could, build some sort of rapport. And then I want to know, so tell me about the house. How many beds? How many baths? How many square feet? Backyard? Flood zone? Is there a mortgage? And then the most important question of them all, right? You want them to talk, right? You want them to say, oh, I got 3 beds, 2 baths, it's 2,000 square feet. The most important question of all is, 1, why are you selling? Because if they say, oh, we're ready to move on, we've been living in this house for 10 years, we're looking to move on to a bigger, better house, we're not really in a rush, we're just trying to see what kind of offers we can get before we put it on the market, get rid of them. They're not a good lead. But if they say something like, hey, we're looking to sell faster than normal, we don't have a bunch of time, maybe we have this specific situation going on in our life, we need a quick sale, those are the people that you want. They're never just going to come out and say, hey, we need to sell right now. Nobody is ever just going to expose their cards to you and say that they're in a dire situation. But as you build rapport and make them trust you, because people do business with people they know, like, and trust, you can get them to open up. The next thing you want to know, so beds, baths, square feet, backyard, it's stuff that you should write down, but it's not super important. You want to know where their head is at. Are they looking to sell within the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 2 months, 3 months? If they're not in a rush, they're not going to bring their price down. Just like I said about the couch, if you need to move and you need to sell that couch by tomorrow, you're going to be willing to take a lot less than you were if you could just put it in storage if nobody buys it. So that, and then you want to know, hey, did you have a price in mind? Are you looking to get $400,000 because all your neighbors sold their houses for $400,000? Or are you willing to take maybe $300 or maybe $250 for a quick close? Are you looking to move quicker and get this deal wrapped up? Or do you want to get full price? So they were open. The deal that I did with V and M, from their uncle paying their property, they owed about $80,000 on the mortgage, but they weren't paying their taxes or their mortgage bill anymore. So they were pretty open. How I really sealed the deal up was I went there and built the rapport in person. So the next one, once they call you, you can ask, where'd you see the sign, beds, baths, square foot, backyard, flood zone, mortgage, why are you selling? And then, did you have a price in mind, right? And then from there, you tell them, hey, okay, once they might say no, make an offer, right? So you can go to the property and check the property out. It really depends on what kind of volume, how many leads you're getting. If you're getting 20, 30 people a day calling into your phone saying, hey, I seen your Bandit Sign, how much are you paying? You have to pick and choose. Do you want to go out and see all these properties, or do you want to make soft offers over the phone? So like I said, you go ahead and you find properties that are similar to the property that you're doing, meaning, it's a 3-bed, 1-bath house. You find 3 of them within a 1-mile radius in the past 6 months. You add them up, and you get what it's worth. Now, how do you make your offer, right? So you basically want to get the property under contract for 60% of what it's worth. And why I say 60% is because you have to give enough room or enough spread for this guy. This guy has to make money. Yes, you want to make money. Yes, the seller wants to make money, but everybody needs to make money, because if you learn to watch the pockets of the buyer, your buyer, you can make as much money you want on a deal. If I find a good deal in New Jersey that I don't want to personally buy because now I'm in the position where I could be that cash buyer, if I don't want to be that cash buyer, I have a buyer I could call up right now who, because I brought him a bunch of good deals, know have done good business with him, I could basically tell him, hey, I want to make $20K on the spread. So what you're going to want to do is, say the property is worth $250,000, right? You're going to basically say, 250 times 0.65. You want to get the property, so that's 162. So 250, that would basically give that buyer almost 90K in profit after they flip it, which is a bit high, so it gives you some wiggle room. Then you want to look at the property and see how big it is. If it's between if it's under 1,500 square feet, you want to times it by 15. If it's 2,000 square feet, you want to times it by 20. And if it's 2,500 or more in square feet, you want to times that by 25. And that's what the repairs are. A lot of people say, oh, I'm not a contractor, I don't know how to guesstimate repairs. That's just soft estimate. So 1,500 times 15, that's 22,000. 22,500. 2,000 times 20, that's 40,000. And then 2,500 times 25, that's 62,000. I did a house that was around 1,500 square feet and it cost me $70K to fix. That was back in 2018, 2019. So it's hard to say, but that's just an estimate. So this particular house actually cost my buyer, I think, around $55K. He told me the numbers it cost him to fix it up. So just say the house is going to cost you, the house is worth $250. When I times 250 times 0.65, because that's how cheap you want to buy the house. You want to buy it 60 to 70% on the dollar. You could even do 70%, right? 70 times 250, that's 175, right? So 175 minus 250, that gives your buyer a 75K spread. Say the repairs, or no, oops. 250, let me see, 250 times 0.70, 175. Oh, no. 0.70 times 250, 175. No. Okay, so 175 minus 50, 125. So let me know if you understand what I just did right there, right? I was just having a brain fart as far as math. The property's worth 250. We want to get it under contract, and you always want to get as low as possible. You can work up, say 60%, between 60 and 70% of the dollar. 60% of 250, that's 150, right? So take off. So now you're down to 150 minus 40,000 for the repairs. So now you're down to 110 minus $10,000 for your fee. Now you're down to 100. So a property that's worth 250, you want to try to get it under contract for 100. So let's do another simple math, right? Say the property's worth 300 times 0.60. Now you're down to 180. You know the repairs might be 50,000. Now you're down to 130. You want 20K for your fee. Now you're down to 110. That's what you offer to the sellers. Hey, I could do between 100 and 120. But you have a lot of room to work with. If they say, hey, no, I want 150, you're still good. So for this case in point, this property's worth 250. I'm down to 150, giving this buyer a $100,000 spread, right? Then I take off 40 for the repairs. Now I take off me for my assignment fee. Now I'm down to 100. So I could say, hey, look, after doing the calculations, I could pay somewhere between 100 and 120. I know it's not a lot, but we provide quick closing, fast cash turnaround for this deal, and you don't have to worry about any fees, and we can close quickly. If they say yes, you can move forward. So that's how much we do as far as the numbers, right? So let me erase this. So that's as far as how much we did. So the property I got was actually $250. I got it under contract for $85K. When I got it under contract, I printed out a simple purchase and sale agreement contract from Google or Bigger Pockets, which is a real estate form. I got the sellers, which are V&M, to sign that contract. I made them, I think I put down $5 or $10 in earnest money, which is basically to make the contract legit. You don't have to put down anything. You couldn't put down 50, 20, 100, but most people don't really require you put down anything, but that's kind of just to lock the contract into something real. And then you start marketing it to your buyers. So you could be in real estate groups on Facebook. You could put out little other bandit signs for buyers saying handyman special. You can reach out to other investors in your area. You could go to real estate meetings and say, hey, I have a fixer-upper. And you could show them what the property looks like. And they will know what you're going to make. You're going to tell them, hey, you have to give them a contract. So you have to give them an assignment contract, meaning, hey, I have this property under contract for 85. I'm going to sell it to you for 91. Depending on how this contract is worded out, go to the book in the description below to get access to a more in-depth breakdown about how this all works. But depending on how the contract is laid out, they will see how much you're making. But nonetheless, at closing, everybody's going to know how much you're making as a wholesaler. And then there's other advanced strategies. If you end up making $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 on the deal, you might have to do a different type of closing, which is called a double closing. But like I said, I put the contract under with the sellers, V and M, at 85K. I sold it to my buyer. We're going to call him T, for 91K. And I got a 6K cut. Now, one thing I also did, once I got him to agree to 91K, I had him give me a $2,500 non-refundable deposit, meaning he wrote me a check for $2,500, and then I brought this contract and this contract to a title company. So find a local title company in your area. A title company is somebody that does deals for real estate investors where they handle all the legal paperwork, and you can have them do the deal for you. They'll know what a wholesaler is, that they should if they're real estate investor friendly, meaning they work with real estate investors and not just traditional buyers. They'll know what you're trying to do, but this is all legit, this is all legal, and this is how I did it. So the lead came in, I built rapport, I figured out what the property was worth, I offered $85,000, they agreed, I got the property under contract for $85,000 and I sold it for $91,000. This was my first deal. I probably, in actuality, probably could have sold it to him for maybe $105,000 to $110,000, allowing me to walk away with maybe $25,000 or $30,000. Even if I told him, 85 plus 30, giving me a $30,000 spread, that would have put me at $115,000. If he put $50,000 into the property, that would have put him at $165,000, and he resold it for, I believe, $215,000. So he walked away much nicer. I still could have had him make money because you still want to worry about your investors' pockets because you want to build that relationship with him. So I could have made 30, I only made 6. But that's how I did my first wholesale deal. Like I said, if you want more in-depth breakdown, be sure to check the link in the description below for my mentor, Nasser, aka the Real Estate Guru. He has a book called Flipping Houses Like Burgers 2.0, where he breaks this all down, and you can go back and reread it, or you can go back and rewatch his video. But that is how I did my first wholesale deal and made $6 grand. When I look back on it, I probably could have probably made 25 or 30 grand from this deal. But you live and you learn, and you just know for next time. But that's how you figure out if everything from marketing to what the property's worth to everything. So if this video was helpful, be sure to put a thumbs up on it. Again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.